Doc, what's your reaction to Leandro being out for the season, and when do you expect the Celtics to start adding players to the roster?
I don't know about the players. I mean, obviously, LB just losing his personality hurts us. He's just one of those, as I've said it a million times, but you don't know a player or a coach or anybody until you actually coach him or play with him. And he's one of those guys that you just like in your locker room. Forget the basketball part. And his spirit has been really good for us. And losing that's big. And then he was our wild card. It was good to have a wild card, when you throw him in and he could go either way, but you knew he was going to be aggressive. So it's a loss. As far as players, Danny and I, the last 48 hours have probably covered every human being that's breathing and can dribble and shoot. And, we're just going to take our time. That was, at the end of the day today, that's basically what we came to. Is we don't want to rush into anything. We don't have a lot of flexibility cap-wise, so we're just going to wait. And if someone shakes loose or you can get someone, we will. But until then, we're stretched at the guard spots, to say the least.
Would you like to have somebody coming out of the break?
Yeah, but I'm not going to say we will. We're going to be very patient. There's no reason to just go grab a guy. We're going to wait. And one of the things I told Danny at the end of the day, for us, let's not look at a position anymore. That's something we were doing, and from now on, right now, with all the injuries, whoever's out there who we think is the best player, no matter what position, we'll just get them and then figure out how to use them. Even if it's another guy that a three, where we don't need. I'd say we'll move it around and play 3 threes if we have to. But I would rather have the best player than a positional player.
So you can live with 3 guys.
I have or three small forwards. Whatever we have, we have. I would just like him to be a good player.
You definitely won't have 3 centers.
No 3 centers. That's not going to happen.
Doc, we've seen Rondo hanging around here. You don't expect Barbosa to stick around?
Yeah, I do, but it's different. I've told you before, it's different when you're playing and then when you're not playing. Players tend to listen more to the guy that's out on the floor with them. But yeah, I actually told LB, I like our guys hanging around, but I do understand, and Rose went through it or is going through it. It's tough to be there every day when you can't play and you want to play. That's hard, and I don't expect that for him. I know he'll probably slip off to Rio at some point.
Is he a guy that you would like to have back?
Yeah, absolutely.
Doc, that's the second locker room guy that you've lost with Jared. How much do people on the outside underestimate that aspect of a player rather than just their on-court?
Well, I think all of them are good. And I just think when you lose players, it hurts. But, locker room is a very underrated thing, And, I always use the Chuck Daly line. He always said, I don't know how you get chemistry, but I know when you get it, you know it, and you do whatever you can to protect it and keep it, so those hurt you.
Doug, going back to the roster additions, again, you guys are in a tough spot cap-wise. How tough is that making now, flexibility-wise, as well as any more injuries? Like you guys.
Well, we can't. We literally can't have another one. So if someone gets hurt, they can't get hurt. We have to ignore it. We were very aggressive this summer, and now we are really right at the threshold. So we don't have flexibility, and that hurts you.
Is that something, again, the injury exception deadline has passed? Is that something you like to see changed in the sense of situations like this?
Yeah, I've always, but it's, listen, the league is really hard on, like I told you before, I had the 1 year with Grant Hill that he didn't get an injury exception. He didn't play the whole year. And that I guess in a comment he made that there's a chance he could play at the end of the year. He made it so they didn't give us the exception. So it's not like they're giving that exception. I wish they would more. In circumstances like this.
What was the very careful about the development of Fab Melo all season long. With all the injuries, Doc, does that change at all?
No, players play when they're ready. That'll never change. If Fab was ready, he'd be playing it. I don't think we or any organization for the most part. Anybody coddles guys. They put the guys on the floor who they think are ready. If guys aren't on the floor, and that doesn't mean we're right or wrong in our decision making, but we feel like they're not ready yet.
Were you kind of playing one up, trying to top Tom at dinner last night with injuries, saying, well, we have this guy out. We got this guy out.
We could have had a battleship, well, he's out. But we did. It's funny. I don't think we talked about injuries at all. Maybe we don't want to talk about it. So we talked a lot about football.
Rhino underwent
Joking about that.
Rhino underwent surgery yesterday. Have you communicated with him at all?
Not yet. I just text, but I haven't talked to him yet. So, I'm from the generation. I think communication is when you actually talk to a person. I haven't talked to him yet.
He's been very adamant about, Adrian, big fan of Adrian Peterson, wants to follow the same footsteps, everything like that. Adrian himself has said, everybody's different, that kind of thing. I mean, considering how competitive Rondo is, do you almost want to tell him, hey, take your time, don't rush it?
No, I want him to rush it. I want him to be exactly like Adrian Peterson. That doesn't mean you're going to make it back, but I think it's a good thing. It's a good goal to have. I think Adrian Peterson has probably messed everyone's minds up. Right. Everyone thinks you're going to come back and be Adrian Peterson. First of all, it's a different game, and I know football, there's hitting and cutting, but you're running on a hardwood floor, and every step you make is a cut in basketball. And so, I think you have to be very careful in that. And, I think in basketball, guys come back, but I think it takes a little longer to feel comfortable. So, but I do think it's, guys are far advanced, I've seen Rose run up and down the floor, but I just think it's different, and you have to be very careful.
Which is a tougher challenge when you're coming back from that type of injury, the physical hurdles or the mental ones?
Well, for me, it was mental. But, the physical part, I think, is just, I always looked at it when I did the rehab, it was just what it was. The only way you're going to come back is going to be, you got to go through physical pain. But the mental part, for me was hard, and I didn't anticipate that. I thought it'd be easy, and I remember Riley bringing me in, showing me clips of me landing when I first came back, and I wouldn't land. I was laying on one leg. I would not land on both feet because that's how I got injured. So I didn't know I was doing that. That was subconscious, but I think it's mental.
Did you have any theory about why so prevalent among guards? This kind of
the injury? Sam, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know that. I mean, we do more cutting. We also are off our feet more. Stockton, who missed, one game? I remember talking to him after his career, and I said, man, you had one hell of a career without getting injured. And he was a physical player. And he said, I made a conscious choice not to leave my feet. And he said early in his rookie year, he sprained his ankle because he tried to jump high, which he said, I made a conscious effort from that point on. I'm going to try to play below the rim and not be a vertical. What did he say? I wanted to be a horizontal player instead of a vertical player. And I think a lot of those guys who are getting injured are explosive jumpers or whatever. But Sam, it's definitely more guards, and I don't know why.
Do you ever remember in this short of time, 18 months, so many guys having this similar injury?
No. And, there's all theories about that, all the strength and conditioning and all that. Your body can only have so much weight. And I don't know the reason. I really don't. But it's something that needs to be, discussed amongst the teams and find out if we're doing something wrong.
Doc, every win's important, obviously, but how big is tonight, heading into the All-Star break, just going forward with the neighborhood?
Well, it's nice. I mean, especially we're going on a hard trip. We're going on a 5-game West Coast trip after this game. So it's a big game, but it is for them as well. So, we're going to put what we can into it. I got some guys banged up besides the guys, and some of them are key guys. So it's going to be, minute-wise, we're going to have some guys on restriction in this game that are key, and that's just the way it is. You'll figure it out at the end of the game.
Pierce at the 2 tonight a little bit. Are you guys expecting to go big at all? Or
well, we have no choice. I mean, I don't care who you called it to, either Paul or Jeff, but they have to play together every game now until we get another guard.
Same starters?
Yeah.
Doc, as Jordan turns 50 this Sunday, do you have a favorite memory or anecdote or nightmare that stands out?
Well, I have a lot of nightmares. Some good ones are, remember his sister singing the national anthem and starts laughing, and then I had to go guard him. That wasn't very nice of John Starks. I remember the thing I love about him, or remember the most about him, though, is the halftime speech of the All-Star game. I think Barkley was laughing, a couple guys were joking around, and he basically informed us that we were going to win the game, and whoever didn't feel like playing that way should not play in the second half, and I actually like that. I wish they all were like that. All-Star game. Thanks.